wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation. Control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Giggs, and today we're going to be talking about NBA FanDuel. It's week one, baby. It's week one. It's day one. It's a 2-game slate, but who cares? I'm ready to throw some money down. We're going to get right into what the layout of this show is going to be like. I'm going to be doing this just about every slate, every day. I'm going to be very busy. So if you want to join me, you're more than welcome. I'll be breaking down pretty much game by game who I like. We're going to be looking at FanDuel more than DraftKings, unfortunately, but we will get there as soon as they unlock my account. But for now, we're going to be looking at FanDuel pricing. I usually break down what the over-unders are on the games, what games I'm going to be stacking players in. So let's just get right into it with this one because I'm excited. I hope you all are. I know we only got 45 minutes, locks 15 minutes before tip-off, but I'm going to get you guys ready here. So we got 2 games. All right, we got Golden State, Brooklyn, and then we got the defending champs, Los Angeles Lakers against the Clippers. We're going to look at Golden State, Brooklyn first. So the over-under on this game is 234.5. So between the 2 games, this is the higher over-under. That's typically something I'm looking at when I'm making my lineups. I want to stack players in games, especially when there's only 2. So we have 2 games tonight. I don't normally do tournaments where it's only 2 games because there's not much wiggle room here. If you mess up, you're kind of screwed. But What I like to do is break it down by which game is going to be more high scoring or which game will be more competitive. I think Golden State Brooklyn will for sure be more high scoring, not competitive. But it's two teams that aren't really known for defense, and they both have guys who can light it up. So that's the game that I'm probably going to be stacking more players from. So just looking at the point guard position, at number one, you got Kyrie Irving. He's at 9,000 right now. Last year, looks here like he was averaging 46.13 points. I don't know if that's for sure what he was averaging last year. What I do remember is there was no Kevin Durant and he was lighting it up. So at 9,000, I really like Kyrie Irving. And then Steph Curry at 8,700. I think he might be next to Durant, the most underpriced player on this slate. So if you're trying to choose between the two, like I am, it's difficult. But Curry, $300 cheaper. He will be the only. He'll be the number one. So here's the thing: I don't like it when guys have to compete for shots. It makes it more difficult because if one guy's hot and the other's not, they kind of just default to, hey, you go ahead, shoot. Do your thing. You're tearing it up. So there's no Klay Thompson. He's hurt. Draymond Green's out. I expect Steph Curry to chuck up like 10 threes tonight. So if I had to choose between the two, I'm probably going Curry, but I'm going to try to find a way to get them both in there. What's up, guys? You're doing good tonight. Oh, we got some football in here. All right, we'll do this. We got Hurts or Herbert, flex, Swift or Jonathan Taylor, PPR wide receivers need two, McLaurin or Jefferson. Go Hurts. He's got Dallas. He should be like a top 4 QB this week. I know Tyler's really high on him. Swift or Jonathan Taylor. They have Jonathan Taylor has the Steelers, so I'd probably go.
I would go
No,
with them.
Swift has Tampa as well. Neither of those teams are easy when it comes to the run, but I think I'd go Jonathan Taylor. He has a better O line. McLaurin, Jefferson, Deontay, Cup, Ty, Higgins or Gage also. I'm going to say Justin Jefferson and Terry McLaurin, but definitely tune back in on Sunday to confirm. I don't know if any of those games. Oh, actually, games start Friday, don't they? For now, I'm going to go McLaurin, Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, Hurts. Those would be my guys.
Yep, Friday, Vikings, Saints.
Friday's Vikings Saints. That's a tough matchup, but I still like Jefferson. So back to this FanDuel NBA DFS. Tonight, it's going to be a little difficult looking at point guard. Do you play Kyrie Irving? Do you play Steph Curry? Or do you try to play both? I've been looking at some websites. They have Patrick Beverley as their number 2 point guard. I don't think so. I don't think I'm going there, especially with Lou Williams being at point guard instead of shooting guard this year, which is weird. Last year, he was almost always shooting guard. So 5,300 for Lou Williams. If I was going to fade either Irving or Curry, I'd go Lou Williams over Beverley. I haven't messed around with that, so I don't know what the roster construction would look like, but right now I'm more keen on Lou Williams. Ryan Gordon says, who do you like out of Joe Harris, LeVert, and Dinwiddie? So that's actually something I was going to be talking about is Brooklyn is concerning to me because I'm not quite sure how this rotation is going to work. Because early on last year, Kyrie Irving was healthy, LeVert wasn't, and then Irving had that freak shoulder injury, and then LeVert was playing. So they always had a ton of usage and ball in their hands. I know Dinwiddie is supposed to start, but I like LeVert's defense upside. I think Joe Harris is starting. I think his price is right because if he hits a couple threes, he's probably going to hit value. Definitely more of a cash play. The only reason he would make a GPP lineup for me this week is because there's not a lot of options. So sometimes you just pick the safe bet and you risk it somewhere else. So if I had to say who I'm going to have the most exposure to out of those three, it's probably going to be Joe Harris, but that's just because of my roster construction. But I think he has a safe floor. And again, LeVert, I'm not quite sure how this rotation is going to look yet. Dinwiddie is supposed to be the starter. I also want to know how many minutes Kevin Durant's going to play. He played 24 minutes against the Wizards. He played 27 minutes against Boston. So that's encouraging. I still don't expect him to play back-to-backs. And future reference, on those back-to-backs, that's when you're going to want Kyrie Irving or one of those guys. I can see LeVert definitely having to step into a bigger role when Durant's out. So just a heads up, when we do cross that bridge, be one of the first to have those guys, because this happens every year. You find out who comes in for who. When teams get switched up, you want to know if this guy's out, who slides in. NBA is all about usage rate. It's all about time on the court. Wow, Golden State versus Brooklyn, Curry about to go off at 30. Yes. Yes, he is. Because they have no Klay Thompson. They have no one else to shoot the ball. Andrew Wiggins is your second scoring option. I don't trust him beyond the arc. He's got freak athleticism, but he doesn't really use it going to the hoop as much as he should. But we'll see. He was taking a good step forward last year before he got traded. He started the season off real hot. We'd like to see we definitely want to see Wiggins take a step forward in Klay Thompson's absence. Wiseman. So that's another one. I've been doing a ton of research on Wiseman, and what I'm a little concerned about is how much playing time he's going to get, because Coach Kerr said he wanted to bring him on slowly, right? Well, Draymond Green's out. He slides in the starter role. Like they said they want to start him. My question is, does Looney get more burn? I wouldn't be surprised if Wiseman starts, but only gets like 18 minutes and Looney plays more time. But we'll see. They might need him, because if you're swapping out DeAndre Jordan, what the hell is that other center? Jared Allen, my man. They're gonna need bigs. So I mean, Looney at 4,100, Wiseman at 4,200. I would say any lineup you're making with Wiseman, just because there's only 2 games, just copy and paste that lineup and take Wiseman out, throw Looney in, because I could totally see one of them having a big game tonight. I just don't know how fast they're going to bring on Wiseman. He could be in line for a big game, though. They're down their second scoring option in Klay. It's going to be that way the whole season. So you got Wiggins and then probably Oubre. Then who's next? If Wiseman can show that he's reliable buckets, he'll probably get the ball, because Draymond Green is not a scorer. He's a facilitator. He's a glue guy. Big T says, I think Golden State upsets, and that's Big T. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I don't know. See, I'm a little scared for Golden State. I don't think they're a playoff team, not just because of how competitive the West is, but I just don't see Steph Curry as someone who can backpack his team. If Wiggins, if Oubre, if those guys can prove to be a good number 2, number 3 scoring option, then maybe they have a chance. But I just don't see it. They're not that great of a defensive team, so they're going to have to put up buckets. And without the Splash Brothers, I don't know if they have a chance this year. Tonight, maybe. It's a brand new season, new scenery. You got Kyrie and KD. Maybe they don't get along on the court, but I just think that the guard rotation in Brooklyn is just a little too much for Golden State tonight. They'll be able to stay fresh at guard while Curry has to do a bunch. So I wouldn't be surprised if Curry drops like 35, 40, but they lose, which again, guys, play Curry. He's probably my favorite play tonight. You're not going to see him this cheap. He doesn't usually sit under 9,000. So no Klay Thompson. He's going to be firing him up. I think he's good for 40, 45 tonight at least. Wiseman is starting. Yes, he is starting. And again, I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. We don't know. Is this coach talk? Oh, Wiseman's in now. Two weeks ago, you hear Kerr saying, I'm going to bring the guy on slowly. And Wiseman was dealing with an undisclosed injury. That's something to consider. And that's just a great segue to talk about, my man's Pascal. If you have Draymond Green out, Wiseman, undisclosed injury, I think you have 2 sleepers here at power forward that can be really good. I think everyone's going to go to Pascal, because if you followed DFS last year, he slid in a lot when Draymond Green was out. I think a lot of his stats, though, they kind of diminished when Curry actually played, because they didn't have Curry for a lot of last year. When Pascal was by himself, he looked great. But when he was with Curry, it wasn't the same. I like Chris. I think Marquise Chris for GPP would be my favorite. I think Pascal is the safer cash game guy. But I think Chris will be the guy who gets a lot of burn tonight. They'll use him as a big, and he was great for GPP last year. Yes, you can get burnt by him easily, but he's someone who can get up 30, maybe even 40 FanDuel points if he actually gets the burn needed. It's opening night, and I think the Nets going to look rusty. They definitely will look rusty. Definitely. I mean, Kyrie hasn't played in forever. He's going to have his sage. He's going to be burning essential oils and whatever else hell he burns. I don't know. He's going to look good tonight, but KD, although he looked good in preseason, I'd like to see him in an actual game. Do I make good money off daily fantasy sports? Of course I do. Of course we do. That's why we're doing this show. We're going to help you make all the money in DFS. What we'll do is we'll make sure we'll post our receipts so you can see it. We're not into cash games over here though. We want the big prize. That's the problem. So if you're all into cash, what I can do is give you guys some cash lineups, but for the most part, I play GPP, I play big tournaments. I'm going for that $1 million. Today, that's what we're going for. We got to be different. We got to be unique. So I'm just going to get right into the guys that I think you need to be looking at to make your lineup a little bit different than everyone else's. Just some guys off the top of my head. Matthews. Wesley Matthews, a small forward at 3,600. He did start in preseason for the Lakers. Now, if Wes Matthews doesn't splash like 2 or 3 threes in the first half, he's probably not going to hit value. But if he gets hot quick and can get a couple points on the board, he's not going to get you a bunch of counting stats, but a couple steals, maybe a couple threes, he can hit value. And that small forward position's a ball buster right now. So I think that could be a really good play. Also, Nicholas Batum, that's someone who's got a lot of burn with the Clippers of this preseason. I know he's very old. He's coming over from the Hornets. He might be a good play. Again, you have to do something a little bit off the wall. We got Luke Kennard. We got, Damian Lee. I don't even know if he's going to be in the rotation, but you have to be different. You have to do something that no one else is doing if you want to make the money tonight. And it's kind of like when you play single games. You have to do something really different or you're going to all be sharing the first place pot. So try to make something unique tonight, guys. If you're doing GPP, if you're doing cash, I mean, good luck. I wouldn't do it on a 2-game slate, but I'm going to get back on track here with this Brooklyn game though. I'm going to look at shooting guard now. You got Andrew Wiggins, Spencer Dinwiddie. Who do you play out of the two? Dinwiddie is going to be starting. They have Karis LeVert. I think the guard rotation is going to be very strange there. So I'm not too keen on Dinwiddie, but knowing that he's starting and he's going to have some good usage, I like Spencer. If I'm paying that price, I'm probably going Dennis Schroeder for $200 less in the Lakers game. He was originally questionable, but it looks like he's going to play now. So I like Dennis Schroeder at 5,000 more than Dinwiddie at 5,200. And like I was saying earlier about Wiggins, at 6,600, he needs to get you counting stats. He needs to be able to get some assists, some rebounds, some steals, some blocks. 20 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, that's not going to cut it. He's going to have to stuff the stat sheet tonight to hit that value. I think Paul George for 1,000 more at 7,600 looks a little bit better. But again, we like this Golden State Brooklyn game. We want to have exposure in this game. It's going to be high scoring. That's what we're going to focus on. Over under in Brooklyn and Golden State is at 235 at LAC. Lakers at 219. Yeah. See, what is that? That's 16 more points, guys. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but more possessions, more points, more shots, more rebounds, more assists. We love that stuff. Okay, I need to sign up then. I'm slacking. I take under in Brooklyn, Golden State, but that's just me. Hey, if it's a blowout, probably would be the under. But if Curry can keep him in this game, I definitely can see a high scoring game. This is 2 teams that aren't really known for defense. They're fast paced teams. They shoot a lot. So I can definitely see this game being high scoring. Lakers, Clippers, I think that game's gonna be sloppy. I mean, the Lakers just got done with basketball 11 weeks ago. So I'm not sure that game's gonna be that high scoring. I think that game's gonna be a lot of defense, whereas this one will be a lot of offense. Evan says, what's up? What's up, Evan? Welcome. It was. I sent an update on Wiseman on FanDuel for like 40 minutes ago. Seems shaky for DFS. Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. This might be fool's gold. All right. Like everyone's going to just be itching to play him. I'm not. I think I'm going to just avoid Wiseman. If I have him and it's just one lineup, I'm not putting all my chips in the middle of the table on Wiseman. I told you Looney for $100 less could be a very sneaky pivot from Wiseman. So if you find yourself having a lot of lineups with Wiseman, if you're saying, screw this guy, I'm playing Wiseman, he's the best. Just do me a favor, make one lineup with Looney, because you never know. Maybe Looney goes off for like 20, 30 points. Wiseman only gets you like 18. Like that's going to be the guy you wanted. Can I ask a football question, or are you just doing basketball tonight? You can throw the football question in there. I'll answer it. Fade LeBron. Yeah, if you're on Discord, definitely do the Discord. Fade LeBron. Yes. Thank you, Ryan Gordon. Yes. So here is what you need to know tonight. You want to fade LeBron James. Why? Like I said, 10, 11 weeks ago, he was just getting done with basketball. They're going to take it easy on this old man. I know he can still ball, but they're going to take it easy on him. I'm actually very concerned about the minutes. If you look at LeBron last year, when he had AD, when they both played games, he rarely hit value. Rarely. That's rare. In regular season, that is rare. I don't like LeBron. He is so overpriced. I would much rather go Kawhi Leonard at that price. But I'm actually looking at Oubre, Joe Harris as my main small forward combination right now. But I do like Kawhi Leonard's price. I think that's much better than LeBron. So you might think I'm crazy for saying fade Braun, but at 1,100, you need 55 just to hit value. And I would go AD over him. Like if you want to pay that much money, you go Anthony Davis. And honestly, Kevin Durant at 8,400 is what I believe he's sitting at. You got Kevin Durant at 8,500. That is a better price than paying for LeBron. I know it's a different position, but you go Durant over LeBron. He's saying I got to take it easy on this old man. He knows he's old. So I was so conscious about this stuff. So conscious that bald. Although he was balding when he was like 16. But no, I mean, LeBron, he got hurt his first year with the Lakers. That never happens. They need to avoid a major injury. If LeBron or Anthony Davis goes down, their season means nothing. All they care about is getting in the playoffs. They don't care about their seeding. They're ready for the gauntlet. They just know they have to be healthy. And quite frankly, I think the Lakers are a little bit scary this year. They've added some good pieces. They got rid of Alligator Arms, Danny Green, brought in Schroeder. So I think the Lakers are primed to repeat. I'm interested to see who comes out of the East, but I think they're good to go again this year. 20-person league since Kevin Porter Jr. out. Obi Toppin. Aiden Tobin. Yo, go get Obi Toppin and Patrick Williams. Those guys are going to be studs. Cole Anthony is just going to be points, but Obi Toppin, Patrick Williams will do a little bit of everything for you. That's the route I would go. Says KD and Kyrie have no restrictions. Yes. So that's why I really like both of them. This game's supposed to be high scoring. I think KD's price is very low. And the 24 minutes against Washington, the 27 minutes against Boston, that's a very encouraging sign that he's actually going to get a lot of burn. I still don't expect him to play back-to-backs. That's something you want to watch out for. But if it doesn't look like there's a limit restriction tonight, I can see him playing 27, 30 minutes. This is a revenge game, guys. We got to get pumped. This is Kevin Durant's first revenge game. So we need to make a point of that. You got to play him on his first revenge game. I can't believe Draymond Green's not playing for this. Like, what a baby, you know? You're playing against your old teammate who left you. You got to get out there and ball against them. I said this last year. Big T says, I said this last year, as long as AD stays, they're going to three-peat. Yeah. I mean, when he came in the league, people were saying he's arguably the best player in the league. Anthony Davis is supposed to be the face of the league. So it's LeBron passing the torch to AD saying, here you go. You could be the best player in the league now. Yeah, they're definitely primed to win again. I'll say that. I think adding Montrezl Harrell was an upgrade from what they had at center with Dwight Howard. So I think again Schroeder. I think that's an upgrade. It'll be interesting to see. One thing I want to say about the Lakers, though, in the switch games, real quick. I know we're kind of all over the place, but this is our first time, folks. Guy I want to look at, Horton Tucker. He popped off in the preseason. He's 3,500. That might be a sneaky play tonight. I was talking to my buddy about, you got guys that they're priced very close to each other. Like you got Dinwiddie 5,200, you got Schroeder 5,000. So maybe you're choosing between those two. If there's a lot of people who have to make that decision and they both flop, you're going to want something different at that position. So that's why if you're looking to go cheap and maybe you're considering Damian Lee at 3,900, I'm not quite sure what his rotation is going to look like. I also don't know what Horton Tucker is going to look like, but that might be a guy you want to go with. Hey, you can laugh about it. If Horton Tucker gets burned tonight, you're going to wish you had him. You have to be different on a 2-game slate. That's all I'm saying. If you want to be safe, maybe KCP at 3,700 since he's supposed to get more burn. But these are guys who could finish with 10 points or 20 points. But if you get 20 from Horton Tucker at minimum salary, that's all you need. And honestly, I'd be happy with 15. I'd be happy with 15 with Horton Tucker if I know I can spend that money elsewhere, because this is a very difficult slate because you have so many expensive players. So let's go back to this Brooklyn Golden State game. We were talking about the shooting guard position. I'm not too keen on Wiggins. If I had to choose between Dinwiddie or Schroeder, I'd go Schroeder. So I'm probably going to fade Dinwiddie, even though I like this game. Looking at small forward, I'm all about Oubre tonight because Draymond Green's out. I can see Oubre sliding into the 4. I think he's in line for a big game. I think he's going to get it done with rebounds. He's the third scoring option on this team. So Oubre at 6,400. A lot of people seem to be fading him. I don't mind him. If you're going to pay up at small forward, I think you have to go Kawhi Leonard at 9,500 instead of LeBron at 11,000. We were talking about that. I don't even know. Like Kawhi Leonard at 9,500, I think is cheap, but I just don't know what to expect from that game. I think he's good for 45, 50, so he would hit value, but Oubre, is he going to get 30, 35? If Oubre gets 40, he's going to be the play at small forward. So it's definitely something to consider. I like smoking Joe Harris at 4,300 though. Shout out to Locked On Fantasy. Looking at power forward, guys, Kevin Durant, 8,500. That's probably who I'm going. I mean, we're just used to him being a $10,000 player, 9,500, somewhere in there. So seeing him this cheap, you want to take advantage of that. I know there's a possible minute restriction. They say there isn't, but I still don't see him going over 30 minutes, but that's all he needs to hit value at 8,500. I think he's good for anywhere between 40 to 45 points tonight, FanDuel points, that is. So I definitely think that Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, those are like the two guys I definitely want to build around tonight. I know Anthony Davis, 10,600, not a bad option, but if you're trying to save $2,000 and maybe get the same production, Kevin Durant, I like him. Mo Chris, we talked about that. Marquise Chris could be a great GPP play. Pascal, he looks good because he's going to be the starter, probably more cash game. That probably does it for that team, for the Lakers. I'm sorry, for Golden State, though. Brooklyn, Claxton, no. Perry, no. We're not playing. Kirkus, no. We're not playing any of them. So if you flip it over to center, we got DeAndre Jordan starting. He's got the green check, guys. We know he's starting. And then you got Jared Allen. I'm staying away from both of those. If I had to pick between the two, I'm going Jordan, but I much prefer to go Harrell, Wiseman, or Looney at center. I know Jordan will be starting, so if you're someone who likes to play guys who get more burn or have that green check, if that makes you feel better, go right ahead. Center's kind of a crapshoot in the first place, but I'm probably going to fade the Brooklyn centers for this game because I much prefer to pay up for Montrezl Harrell or go James White. Oh, and there you go, guys. Looney with the check mark. Right on time. Right on time, folks. So looks like Looney is going to be starting at center. So at 4,100, he's 100 cheaper. That might be the guy to play here at center. No, bro, I'm just laughing because that man really he did. He really did. Like he was the highest scorer on the one slate. So Horton Tucker, like I said, it's just someone to keep an eye on. If the Lakers bench their starters, if they somehow blow out the Clippers, if they're like, hey, this game doesn't matter, maybe they're getting blown out. They're like, hey, AD, LeBron, take a rest. You guys just won us a championship 12 weeks ago. You're fine. Horton Tucker's going to come in and ball. So look at Horton Tucker. I think that's a fine play at 3,500 if you're trying to get real cute on this lineup or on this slate. You're probably going to have to because there's only 2 games. But, man, Looney with the green check. Imagine that. All right. Well, we've covered Golden State, Brooklyn. Just to recap it, I love Curry. I like Kyrie too. If I had to pick between the two, I'm probably going Curry. I expect him to have to shoulder a little bit more of the burden for this team.
Yeah, dude. Well, if you love him so much, why don't you marry him?
I'll marry him if he wants to. If he wants to do that, that's cool.
You'd be rich.
No, he'd be rich.
True. He'd be
You know
a
how much
part of
money
the
we make
Aspire
off DFS?
Sports empire, dude.
And we're only growing. Looking at that game, Dinwiddie. You want to play him? He's supposed to start. I'm waiting for that green check, guys. I actually don't see a green check next to Dinwiddie. What's going on? But 5,200 again. I probably would go Dennis Schroeder. We love KD in that game. I like Joe Harris. If you're looking at center, we like Looney. So let's go ahead and look at this Lakers-Clippers game before all this starts. And we got 20 minutes. So lineups lock in 15 minutes. So make sure that you guys, if you haven't had a chance to set your lineups, make sure you go do that now. Big T says, what's Kyle Kuzma price? Just curious. Kyle Kuzma is at power forward sitting down at a lonely 4,200. That's cheap. Oh, Waz answered that. Thanks, Waz. 4,200 is cheap at power forward. Maybe he gets buckets tonight. Who knows? But let's go ahead and look at this Lakers-Clippers game real quick. So if you look at the point guard position, you got Lou Williams sitting at 5,300, Patrick Beverley, 4,200. I like Lou Williams out of the two. I saw Patrick Beverley being used on RotoWire. I'm not a fan. Lou Williams, I think, is a much better GPP play. I know he's 1,100 more, but Beverley is something I don't trust, especially with this new roster. I need to see the rotations. They have Reggie Jackson still. They have him listed as shooting guard, but he's still definitely in play at that point guard position. I'm probably not playing Caruso. Matter of fact, I know. Not playing him. So for the Lakers and Clippers, the only point guard I'm really going to be considering for GPP is Lou Williams at 5,300. Everyone else can kick rocks. Looking at the shooting guard position, Paul George, 7,600. That might be my favorite play on the night. 35, 36, 37 points. That's about value right there. I think he can hit that easily. So cash game, GPP, he's great play. Dennis Schroeder was originally someone we didn't know if he was going to play. He is going to be playing now. He's at 5,000. I said I like him more than Spencer Dinwiddie, so he'll definitely be in my lineups. I'll have some exposure to him. Reggie Jackson, 4,200. Nah. Luke Kennard, 4,000. Maybe. That guy can shoot. He can get buckets. So I'm interested to see where he falls into this rotation. I can see him being a big player in the scoring department. Caldwell Pope, 3,700. Not really a fan. I imagine he's in front of Horton Tucker in the rotation, but we just haven't really seen a lot out of him since he became a Laker. He's too inconsistent. We'll put it that way. 3,700. He's maybe worth a dart throw in GPP, but I'm definitely not playing him in cash, and I'll have little exposure to him in GPP. If you flick it over to small forward, LeBron, 11,000. We know we're not playing him. That's too expensive. You got Kawhi Leonard at 9,500. You're literally looking at a $1,500 discount. Go that route. I think Kawhi Leonard will score just as many fantasy points as LeBron tonight. Wes Matthews, 3,600, someone I think could be a sleeper. He started for the Lakers in some preseason games, so if he gets hot quick, that might be someone you want in your lineups. MP, Andrew Wiggins, nice. I had him last year. Andrew Wiggins should be amazing. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's 6'8". He's smooth, but he doesn't attack the hole enough. And he just didn't play defense. Last year, he did play some defense. Well, I was about to say a guy never plays defense. But Jimmy Butler left the T-Wolves because he couldn't stand how little defense him and Karl Anthony Towns played. He said they were soft. So Wiggins is somebody that he has like A+ potential. It's just when's he going to get there? I definitely like Wiggins. I think he's a beast. I loved him at Kansas, but I want to see him take a step forward this year. They're going to need him, especially with no Klay Thompson. Okay, Big T, what's GPP? So I apologize, guys. I do talk with a lot of jargon. So GPP is grand prize pool. So when you're playing FanDuel, when you're doing DFS, there's different types of game modes. You have like head-to-head, one person against the other. You got 50-50s, which are usually up to 100 people where the top 50% double their money. You have multipliers, and then GPPs, grand prize pools. These things are huge tournaments where the payout is guaranteed, even if the tournament doesn't fill up. And we're talking like 400,000 entries in one tournament. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what we play here. We're crazy at Aspire Sports, but we make money. And I'm going to post my receipts. I'm going to show you guys. I'll give you guys lineups if you want. Might cost you, but not at first because we're still new here. So I'll be posting my receipts. I'll be showing you guys my results. I'll make sure I do it after this slate. I'll definitely be covering tomorrow's slate because it's way bigger, way more games. Those are my favorite. I hate these 2-game slates, but I play them anyway because I love FanDuel. I love fantasy. I love basketball. So just to wrap up these this player breakdown, Nicholas Batum at small forward. He looks good for the Clippers at 3,500 for a GPP dart throw. I'm not too keen on him, but I know that he has started some games, so that's something you want to keep an eye on. RotoWire said he might play. Awaz says Kennard just got paid. He's got to have a decent role. I agree. If you're going to pay that money for somebody and then not have them do anything, what's the point? What is the point? I mean, NBA is notorious for this. Well, they'll sign someone for like 16 mil a year, and then they just sit on the bench and eat popcorn and don't do anything. But Luke Kennard definitely will have a role in this offense. I would agree. MP, the best player to draft in fantasy are people who do it all, like Westbrook and Luka. And Westbrook gives you that triple-double. You're set. Absolutely. When it comes to Roto, if you have guys who get counting stats, and what I mean by counting stats is points, rebounds, assists, block, steals. Those guys like Luka, Westbrook, people who almost average a triple-double, Ben Simmons, those guys are people you want because they just stuff the stat sheet day in, day out. They can get double-doubles, triple-doubles. They are fantasy studs. I know Westbrook, his field goal percentage and everything, that's been down as of late. But when Westbrook is making his shots, when he's actually hitting his free throws, he is a top 5 fantasy player every year. That's how good he is because he can get you 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. That's great for fantasy. I agree with you, MP. I think those guys are excellent to have. And if you have more than one on your team, you're set for Roto. Let's go ahead and look at the power forward position for this game. I think it's a very interesting choice you have here with Anthony Davis or Kevin Durant. I personally will be going Kevin Durant at 8,500. I think it's a better price. I know he's coming off that Achilles injury. How many minutes does he play? Who knows? But I'm going to roll with Kevin Durant over Anthony Davis. If you're choosing between LeBron or Anthony Davis, I would go Anthony Davis for sure. Serge Ibaka at 5,500 looks really good. I think that's good for cash and GPP. You don't have Marcus Morris tonight. I can see him having a big role. Zubac's never been someone who's played a lot of minutes in the first place. So like, even if Serge moves from the 4 to center, I think he's going to be a pretty solid play tonight. And to your point was maybe Serge can slide in the center, Kawhi moves to the 4, and Luke Kennard comes in at the 3, or Paul George plays the 3. So definitely can see Luke Kennard getting some burn tonight and getting some shots up. So that's a good point, Woos. I'm starting to like Luke Kennard even more just talking about it. Kyle Kuzma, I don't know what to think of him. If his shot's on, he's good. But at 4,200, I'm not too keen on that. If AD doesn't play heavy minutes and they don't take this game that seriously, which I don't see why they would, or wouldn't. I'm sorry, but I don't know. I'm not big on the Lakers players because I'm not sure what they're going to do. Do you care about this game? You literally just won the championship 10 weeks ago, 11 weeks ago. Do you really care if you win or not? It's regular season. This is a postseason team. If you look at center, Montrezl Harrell to me is the play on this slate. I love Montrezl Harrell. I'm definitely going to have a ton of exposure to him. Zubac, like I said earlier, hasn't played a ton of minutes in his entire career. So does he get to value at 4,700? Maybe. I can see Zubac getting like 20 to 25. If he hits 30, I'd be impressed. If he hits 30, that'd be really good at 4,700. If you want to play Zubac, I wouldn't go heavy. But I guess he's all right. I expect Serge Ibaka to play way more minutes than him. And then Marcus Saul at 3,800. That's interesting because when he has played this preseason, he looked pretty good in that offense. He's someone who can move the ball around. He hovers around the 3-point line a little bit, but we'll see how the Lakers use him. He might be a good dart throw at 3,800. A lot of people probably won't be looking his way. They're probably going to look at Wiseman, Looney, Montrezl Harrell, guys like that. But that about does it for the player pool, guys. Thanks for hanging out and talking some DFS, talking some basketball, talking some football. This is my first time doing this. We're going to be doing this just about every single day for every slate. If you have any questions, we got a couple more. Westbrook has a 48% field goal this year, but it dropped. See, he definitely does better when he doesn't have to force up the shot. When he gets to pick and choose his shots, he helps his field goal percentage, which is something I think that James Harden helped him in a way. But Westbrook's a dog. He dominates with ball in his hand. He's so good at going to the hoop. He's going to be a real treat to watch. He's with his old coach now in Washington, Brooks, who he had back at OKC. So we'll see. We'll see what they do this year. Maybe Westbrook would be a steal of the drafts. Kennard is my favorite value play by far. Next closest would be Batum. He's projected 30 minutes. If Batum gets 30 minutes, that would be a steal because I think small forward's a very tough position with not knowing if do you pay 5,800 for Karis LeVert. We don't quite know what his role is going to be yet, but we know his potential. Joe Harris at 4,300 looks like a safe cash play, but if the threes don't go, he's got no value, none. So I agree. If Nicholas Batum is playing those minutes and he's on the floor for 30, like he's good for 15, 20 fantasy points. He does it all. He passes, he rebounds, he can hit the threes. So I like that play as well. I hate how the Lakers have such a stacked team. Yeah, it kind of sucks, doesn't it? It's like they're back to being really good again. I remember for a couple years the Lakers were terrible, and I kind of loved it because I have so many buddies that are Lakers fans. And God, back when they had Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and Kobe's just kind of like, what the hell do I do with this team? RIP, by the way. But he was just like, I don't know what to do with these guys. I have no idea. And none of them even play for the Lakers anymore. LeBron's like, we're cleaning house, folks, and we're going to win some championships. Let me show you how we do this. It's pretty crazy. And who knows if Bronny Jr., little Bronny comes in, is he going to go to the Lakers? Will LeBron do whatever it takes so they can get him to the Lakers, or will LeBron just follow him? My guess is he follows his son. It's on his bucket list. He said he wants to play with his son in the NBA before he retires. So look out for that. Wherever his son goes, LeBron's going. So futures bet. Any last minute questions? Yeah, if you guys have any last minute questions for DFS or for season long basketball, go ahead and shoot them into the chat. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an example lineup that I got going tonight. This is one of my favorite lineups that I made. This is heavy on Brooklyn and Golden State. I got Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Paul George, Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, Marquise Chris, DeAndre Jordan. Now, that's very heavy on the first game. That's just an example lineup. If you caught all that, it was Kyrie, Curry, George, Wiggins, Oubre, Harris, Durant, Chris, Jordan. But don't be copying and pasting all my lineups because I got to make money too. But guys, I'm going to sign out here. I'm going to make some last second adjustments. I hope I got you guys the info you needed. We'll be back doing this tomorrow. I'm going to be a little bit more organized. And now I'm comfortable doing this. This is just going to be routine for me soon. So thank you for joining. Make sure if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe. We'll be here Sunday. No, we're going to be here Friday for football. So it's going to be a weird schedule going forward. Things are a little fluid with the schedule change and everything. But if you're trying to win your playoffs, make sure you tune in. We're going to help you win that too. But until then, take care. Sayonara, folks.
Wrapped around your soul with no control.